Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ekasi Esports Chess series. I am your host today, Mr. Perfect, and I'm not alone. I'm with
Perfect.
my I'm with my main man. Mr. Snare Gradamus. Snare, what's happening, Snare?
Yo, I'm good. I am finally, you know what I'm excited for? Not really is warming my heart today.
What's up?
Is that I'm not gonna see a draw in chess today. I'm very excited. I'm very hyped. We've been preparing on a long road to get to this particular point in time. And it feels a bit bizarre to actually be here. To be like in a couple of weeks, it's just gonna be season one's just finished, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but still, I'm always excited to get to the end of a journey. It's always fun to see exactly what it's all gonna culminate in.
Definitely. I'm also excited too, man. Today is week one of the playoffs of the Ekasi Esports Chess Series playoffs. So if you guys have been following the Ekasi Chess Series, you would know that for the past 8 weeks, we've been running 8 weekly leagues. Where each week we get 32 players signing up to participate in the Ekasi Esports Chess Series. And only the top 8 per week got a chance to qualify for the playoffs of the chess series. And to make it spicy, we gave the top 3 players some cash prizes. We gave the person in first place, we gave that person 400 rands. Second place got 200 rands, and the person in third place got 150 rands. Just to keep them coming. We saw some other people coming back hoping to win some of that cash prize who already even qualified for the playoffs, but there was no rule saying that nah, you can't do that. So some of them just abused the system a bit. But hey, do you, man, do you. But yeah, so today is the moment we've been all waiting for, because today is the playoffs. So this is so you only had to qualify for this one from the weekly leagues. So you had your 8 chances. We gave you 8 weeks, people. 2 months. We gave them 2 months. So
Nice.
if you didn't make it, man, you'll have to tune into season 2, which might not happen. Just make sure you follow us on the socials, and on which is at Ekasi Esports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. On YouTube it's at Ekasi Esports. Which you're here now, but yeah, so yeah, just make sure to follow us so you can stay updated and find out if you're going to be hosting a season 2 of the Ekasi Esports Chess Series. And by the way, this is all brought to you by the guys at Vodacom World. So shout out to the guys at Vodacom World for making this thing happen. And also shout out to the Ekasi Esports gens for also making this share possible, because we would not be here without those people. So yeah,
Cool.
like I said, today's the playoffs, man. So like I said, like, you're excited. I can see you're excited. I'm also excited too. So let's just look at the participant list and see who is online today. Who's going to be battling it out, for that chunk, for that chunk of the prize pool. So let me just see if I can put up the player list here. Do I have that one? I think it's this one, right? And then yeah. Then we just have to pull up the stats, and then we should be Gucci. So yeah.
That I'm also going to be interested in seeing, right, is
Mhm.
a very
Oh, there we
unfortunate
go.
thing that we've seen over the course of the first 8 weeks
Yep.
is there's sometimes been one or two situations where people have connectivity issues or whatever.
Mm.
I'm really hoping that this doesn't affect this time around, right? Because can you just imagine having to get through not winning a game, Because we're at that point now where every further round is super difficult given how good the players have gotten. So you want to be able to like practice your way up as well, right? So I do not think that, coming up until this point, it's been interesting that everyone wants to play the easier opponents. I think that might flip today, right? Where starting with the easy opponent might actually be to your detriment going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Because like once you play someone easy, then you might be paired up with someone tougher in the next round. Especially if you abuse the person, then the game will like, oh, okay, we try to give you something easy, but then it looks like you want to destroy people, so we'll give you another destroyer. Kaboom. But yeah, but looking at the player list today, we have a lot of destroyers lined up. I mean, we like for the past 8 weeks, especially towards the end, like the action just got heated because we got some more masters coming in. We got a lot of people jumping on board. So I'm really excited to see. So today we have 32 players lined up in the playoffs. We got 32 players, and only the top 16 from today, the top 16 out of this 32 will go on to week 2 of the playoffs. And then after that, we'll go into week 3, which is the grand finals, the final week of the playoffs, or the final week of the entire chess series, where we'll only have 4 players. So after week 2, only the top 4 from week 2 will go on to the grand finals to compete for that big cash prize of 5,000 rands. So only the top 4 will move on into the grand finals, and in the grand finals we'll have our semis, then we'll have the finals, and then we'll see who will win that cash. But for today, and for next week Sunday, while we're trying to get down to that number, to get that 4, we'll have 4 Swiss rounds. So last time we had like 3 Swiss rounds in the previous 8 weeks, but now we added an extra round to make it a bit more spicy, and also just to make sure that not a lot of people are tied for that first place position, because we don't want to take this down to tiebreaker points, so we want to make sure that people beat each other and all that. So this time it's gonna be 4 rounds, and hopefully there won't be as many ties. But we'll see. You'll never know. But looking at the player list, we got some like strong names. As you can see, some of these people have so far we have 2 of the guys who have red tags, and those are officially rated masters. So we got the Chess Boy, we got Kithomski. Those are our 2 chess masters so far we've loaded up. Very strong players. I think they're one of the favorites of like taking it all. Right, and then
Absolutely.
we also have and then we also have Taps Jr. in the list. We have Mkweli, Taps Jr., who's someone who's also like, he's like the dark horse of the tournament. He's one of the dark horses of the tournament because he's always at the top, but he's he's always at the top 3, top 5 spot, but he's hardly in the number 1 spot. So we might see if he might cause an upset, this week or during the playoffs. And then we've got Mkweli, he's making his second appearance. He's making his second appearance in the tournament. His first appearance, he actually won it all. Like, he got, like, I think that was week 2. Yeah, week 2, and then he won. He came on top, qualified for the playoffs, got his 400 rands in cash, and then decides, I'm gonna take a break.
Disappeared.
He
just chilled.
He's chilled.
That this also means, right? This means that since it's been so long since we got to see him play, spent all the time being able to watch all of his opponents, right? None of them have nearly as much tape on him.
Yeah.
And just comes back. And what's crazy to me is that even after all this time, given all the performances we've seen from everyone, he's still top 4 on his ELO rating. That's insane, right? Coming into this, because I was even thinking about how is it possible? Coronations, right? Who's a bit lower. You're gonna mention him in a second, but dude, look how high everyone's ratings are. This is insane, and you're not even halfway down this list, and everyone is just out here, just doing well.
We got like almost half of the people here are above like 1400. So yeah, we are in store for some epic action. So we shall see the real ones. And then so after Senzo we got after Mkweli we have Senzo MC, then we got Volatile, then we got another chess master who just joined. We got a women's candidate master, Miss Bekra Joy, who's also one of the favorites who I can put in to make it into the top 4. Into the grand finals. Then we got Vusam, we got Master P, we got Lazy Cash, who's been here from day 1. This man has been playing in the chess series for all 8 weeks. He's made it into the playoffs. He has won some cash prizes during the weeks, and so I'm excited to see how far he can get. I hope he makes it into the top 16, and maybe into the top 4. I don't know. He's one of the dark horses. He's one of the dark horses of the competition. And then we got Mr. Coronations, who's also another powerful player who has won one of the weeks. And we have Mr. Problem X, we got Jaden Smith, another dark horse. We got Clips, who's also one of the players who've been playing for a couple of the weeks. We got Luquisance, and we got Sully. Sully, by the way, changed his username because he has some issues with his account, so he had to update his username. But yeah, we got Sully in here. We got Carl Topalo, we got Martinus, or is it? Yeah, Martinez, and we got Mercio8, and we got Emilio so far, who have joined the this week's server to make sure that they play. I'm looking at the time. We have like 10 seconds till we get the games underway, so very soon we are about to see some epic chess action, and I hope you guys are excited too. So if you're excited, make sure to share this with your friends. Make sure you share this with everybody and anyone and everyone. We don't discriminate here, you feel me? So if you're new to chess, just tell them about it. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on notifications to make sure you are updated and you know when we are going to be posting another chess tournament or another chess game and whatnot. So yeah, make sure you do all the right things, and yeah, I guess we can just jump into it, Sneh. Should we jump into it?
Let's do it. Let's do it, fam. Let's do it, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Go.
I'm just hyped.
Okay, which game should we tune into first? Okay.
I'd say let's avoid the Masters for round 1, right? And let's make sure that we get as many other people day in the sun. Who haven't we seen in a while? Let's do Emilio and Lazy Cash, maybe.
Okay, yeah, we could do Emilio and Lazy Cash. Oh, and I click on Becker Joy. I guess the things was but yeah, so we got Emilio and Lazy Cash. Lazy Cash being a dark horse. Emilio, I remember he made it in the top 8 once. So I don't know. Maybe he's been training. Maybe he's been practicing. So I guess let's see what he's got to give this week. But yeah, we got Lazy Cash on the black pieces already. Attacking that center like super. Already attacking that center. Not taking it easy on him. Looks like. The formation kind of looks like a Queen's Gambit, but I'm also curious to see what Emilio has in store for Lazy Cash, because he kind of gave up the center. He's not really putting that much pressure onto the center. He's on the white pieces, by the way. So yeah, it's very interesting pawn formation as well. That I'm seeing from Emilio. So it's not something that we used to seeing, but.
Not even something that you're not used to seeing. I've personally never seen this particular formation of pawns, or rather, I've never seen it in this order of approach, right? When you're playing on white and you have the aggressive moves and you make the decision making like this.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I only see these kind of formations occur when you've been put in a bad position, you're trying to counteract a couple plays. So, especially now that you have this not so great setup with your knights, it's kind of really difficult to do anything aggressive here. Almost every single move that could potentially come out has an immediate and obvious counter. Maybe if you go like knight b5 to try and get a different route of attack going. Hey, it is knight b5. That's the only thing I can imagine to force queen a bit off, but even then, queen is not really threatened, right? You just go back into d-file, repressure and control the pawn once more. And if you're Emilio, now what, right? This is why we generally don't see openings that involve pawns that only advance onto the far files. Because now what? What do you actually do? The only easy moves is with knight, but you move that knight, okay, this doesn't affect Lazy Cash whatsoever, right? You have so many pawns that you still need developing. You still want to be able to move your queen, develop your bishop. I don't know, this is either like the most next level moves just yet from Emilio, or one of those scenarios where you end up ruining exactly how the game started to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also not a fan of these type of openings where you're pushing a lot of pawns in the beginning. That's more like mid-game kind of tactics. And also, I'm also not happy what he has done to his king side, because he has advanced the F and G pawns, forward, and now it is kind of like destroyed his king side. Now his king is kind of exposed for some attack. So if Lazy Cash decides to focus some of his attack power on that king side, he could really do some serious damage. So I'm also not a fan of this entire Emilio's opening. But I think he's a low rated player, so I guess he's still trying to learn the fundamentals of chess. But as opposed to Lazy Cash, who he seems to be an experienced player. Rated 1500. So. And we have seen some of his matches, he knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I feel like this match might go in the way of Lazy Cash just because of experience and also just understanding the fundamentals of chess. Because I feel like, there's a lack of understanding from Emilio, from, knowing on how to go about, an opening. Because, yeah, this was just a bit too risky, from him.
I mean, now look at the positioning that he's sitting with. Bishops, I've never seen two bishops occupying the same file here without being able to do anything progressive. One bishop is at the very least covering e4, but the bishop that's sitting on to b2 is going to be a few moves before this bishop can do anything. And unfortunately, it's being blocked by this knight that also can't really move easily. I love this pawn moving forward. It actually blocks the double move option from this knight, keeping him where he is, whilst also controlling these squares on the 4 file quite easily and giving space for the knight to be able to move into this little pocket here without having too much of an impact. This was the only move that could have been done to block this, so it was well done there from Emilio Carlos to go for pawn onto g4, but ultimately still feels like it's just a more matter of time until we just have Lazy Cash completely decimating the board. Has been able to sit with the special pieces very far back, controlling the mid board just with these pawns. And now is where you have to start making decisions, right? What are you gonna do? Really? Oh my gosh, that's such a good pawn move. Oh, queen move. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. Love to see it from Lazy Cash.
Lazy Cash going with that aggression. He's not taking it easy. Like I say, man, if your opponent seems to not be doing the right things, just take advantage and destroy him. Don't play with your food. Don't play with your food. And like I said, we've seen we've seen in the past where people kind of like play around with some of their opponents and not and just like let the ball slip. And they've paid. Some of them have paid like super hard from doing that. So yeah, you just have to make sure that you go in for the kill, especially if your opponent doesn't seem to know exactly what they're doing. And also just look at how much command Lazy Cash has on the game in this game, because he like White is kind of like responding to his moves now. You feel me? So now, Emilio is playing responsive chess, and like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks now that it's something that you definitely don't want to do.
Oof,
you don't want to do that.
You know what sucks now? You have to make a very awkward reaction. You're losing a rook. Now the only thing you can decide is which rook are you losing, right?
Oh man, nah, he shouldn't have done that too. He shouldn't have done that too. So if he's just making the situation even worse. Now, there's a pawn hanging there from White. There's a bishop hanging there on f3. There is oh my god, and he just wants to make it. You see, he Lazy Cash is just putting salt on the wounds right now with that move. He's just putting salt on the wound.
And he didn't have to check him, honestly. He didn't have to, but he just did it to just be like, "What's good, man? What's up? What's going on? You enjoying life?" Game is hard. Game is so hard right now. It does manage to escape the check, but unfortunately, easy pawn take. With the pawn that's now sitting on d4 can apply. It's being like mediocrely threatened, but there's no way you're actually going to try and challenge this with special pieces when there's double protection from pawns. So now the question is going to be exactly what is the direction here for Emilio, right? Do you try and get out of this very prickly situation, or do you try and play aggressive? Unfortunately, there's not really any aggressive options, right? Pawns on A and B are completely stuck. They can't do anything. You have to now try to track back with the bishop. And I mean, this move happens, but it doesn't actually feel like it accomplishes much, right? For Emilio Carlos, the game state is still relatively the same for them. That's why Lazy Cash, you can still, if you want to, easily devour this rook. You don't have to, just leave it, because now he's stuck here, can't make any moves with either of these rooks, can't really make any moves with the queen either, given that F, G, H, everything is blocked. You can maybe move through E, but now that you've got the rook covering that angle, that also becomes an impossibility. It feels like honestly, just one-way traffic at this point. And there's the first rook taken away. What can you do about this? Pretty much nothing.
Yeah, this is pretty rough. Like, honestly, there's nothing really much that Emilio could do right now. The game is kind of like almost over at this point. Like we saw this coming, and like also some of the moves that he is playing, like especially his move on to A1 with the bishop. That's to me, that's just like saying, okay, I'm just gonna do something because I have to do something because it's my move. You feel me? And like it didn't accomplish, like you said, that move didn't accomplish anything. And right now he has positioned his rook and his queen onto the C file. I guess hoping he could try and open up that C file, but obviously, Lazy Cash is, he's making sure that he's got his house solid and he's got everything on lockdown and not giving him a chance by, just simply putting his rook onto C8, So, and I don't think.
Oh!
No, that was not the move, mate. That was not the move.
Oh gosh! All right, so that queen, not the queen, that pawn that he moved up, wasn't that one of the only sources of protection for this king? Now it feels like this king is going to be so vulnerable after this.
Because the G file is going to be open after this, so that's not something that you really want. Like I said, you don't want to do that. You don't want to give, your opponent the chance. And I feel like I said, I feel like at this point he's just, trying to throw stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. So. Yeah, I feel like at this point, if you're playing this type of chess, where you're just playing a move because you have to play a move and it's your turn, that's when you know that you have to resign. Especially if you're in this type of situation where your opponent is like really dominating you and is, like Lazy Cash is just like, position wise, also in terms of the pieces that he has on the board, he has a big advantage. So at this point, I suggest resigning, especially if you have no plan, you don't have any plan to kind of like close up the gap. then yeah, just you're just dragging. You're just dragging the inevitable. So
Yeah.
at this point, I'd say just put it down. But yeah, let me just give you guys an update because some of the matches have been concluded. We have the chess boy who is already on 1 point, so he made quick work of his opponent. We have Volatile also who also has made it. He was also on 1 point. So I guess we shall see. So this week is 4 rounds, like I said earlier. So I guess it's interesting to see what's gonna happen, as we go down the rounds. Because obviously we're gonna have probably 16 people. No, I mean I think we had with 20 people or live.
20 people in total, yeah.
So 10 people probably, 10 people are gonna have 1 point. So and then obviously that number's gonna decrease as the rounds go forward. So I'm excited to see how this ends up. But yes, but back to the game, we can see Lazy Cash probably getting ready to conclude this match. If I was Lazy Cash, I'll just be looking to end this right any minute from now. So he's doubling up his rooks there on the F file, probably looking to and he goes for
But why?
But why? He's giving.
That's why.
Is he giving it for free?
Yeah, that's free. There's literally that's 100% free. There's it's not a but why? But why?
Mahala, umkayipansela. Yo. Ay, no.
Hey, yo.
Amelia. Oh, unlucky for Amelia that he had to meet. Who's this? That he had to meet. Lazy Cash in the first round. Okay, but just I'm just gonna turn into the comment section real quick. I see a Piwe saying that he qualified for the playoffs, but then okay, I guess if you had qualified for the playoffs, one thing I know is that all the players were what? All the players were received emails regarding the playoffs. So if you had qualified for the playoffs, then you should have received an email. So if you didn't join yet and you're not in, then you might have either not checked your email, and yeah, very feels bad, man. I'm really sorry but there's nothing really we could do at this point because the games are underway.
Question, right? Go back with me 2 moves here. Okay. When Lazy Cash decided to move, so we had the move coming in from Bishop, right? Bishop to H3 from Emilio. Lazy Cash then makes the decision to go Queen to F4, to go for the Queen trade. Wasn't this mate in 1 if you just go, Queen to H2 instead?
It was. We even can see some people in the comment section saying it was a mate in 1. The ultimate noob saying also it was a mate in 1. So yeah, you're not the only one who saw that. So I guess he might have missed it.
These things happen. It's actually really bad because it's not just you missed it, right? You ended up having to go for the Queen trade there, and of course you always think that the Queen trade is worth it, especially if you think you're going to be able to get the promotion which he's angling for and searching now. But that gives what chess I've always noticed is about. It's a game of time, right? If you can somehow buy enough time, you can get back into a position where you win. Fortunately, it's not going to matter. It's mate in 1 now. It's GG. Doesn't really matter, but it could have happened faster,
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's what we were talking about earlier on. You won Lazy Cash, but it could have been faster and quicker, right? What will happen if you come against an opponent that will not allow you to get away with missing a mate in 1 like that?
Yeah, definitely. It becomes very tricky. But yes, oh snap, I just we actually tuned into the game, but it just got concluded. It was Sully against Mgwili, and Sully taking that match, taking that first match. So yeah, he takes out Mgwili. So Mgwili he was actually one of the favorites that I had who would have made it next week. So I don't know, maybe he can make a comeback, but we just have to wait and see. I guess another match we can tune into is Wait, still
I want to see an board. Come click on Taps Junior and Problem X. This is I want to see what you think about this board. Tell me what you think about this board.
So tense right there. It's very tense. I'm trying to see what's happening. So I guess we got Taps Junior on the black pieces and we got Problem X on the white pieces. And looking at this, it seems really it seems rough.
Yeah, this Taps Junior. So this is one of those situations, right, where Taps Junior wants to be able to get promotion. It's not going to happen. Will not be allowed. And this is just going to be a slow loss, right? Where unfortunately, if you end up in a situation where the opponent, just hey, you see, Taps Junior, I was about to listen to you. There we go.
Resign.
Just
No, GG's the Taps also, because he sees that like he's just gonna be dragging the inevitable, so why do that, just move on so we can move on to the next round. And I guess we have 2 more matches left. We got Senzo MC against Calcio Paulo. Senzo MC, who has been, he's been always in the top 8. I haven't really seen him in the top 3 that much. I think I saw him once or twice. So I'm curious to see how he fares up in the playoffs and to see if he'll make it into the top 16. So, he might have a chance there.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at this, initially we got Calcio Paulo on the black pieces. He still has his rook on the board, this is an interesting position to be in because we see that Calcio Paulo has like 4 of his pawns still on the board. And we got Senzo MC, only got 2 of his pawns, but he has 2 minor pieces. So I feel like it doesn't really balance it out. I'll still give the advantage slightly to Calcio Paulo. But if he's not careful with that knight or that bishop, that those could really mess him up. So I think what he's doing right now just to minimize the number of pieces on the board is a good thing. So what I would do here, take away 2 of his pawns, just to remove any chances for him getting to get a promotion. And why did he do that?
That's interesting. So this is actually this was actually so good. And I was actually about to mention that like you're actually in a kind of a screwed position if you're Senzo. After having made that move, you either have to keep the knight there to keep cover onto A and B files, or you have to try and advance it as quickly as possible towards this H file to prevent this particular promotion. But
no!
Look at this! Oh my god! Hashtags outplayed.
Okay. Oh man, no!
Right,
Oh man, Calcio Paulo had this in the bag because that move could really. Because now after taking that rook, that H1 block is now is now governed by that knight. So now it's gonna be really hard. But like he'll still get the promotion there on A1. So I guess he's not too worried. But it just. Because after the play, this was the play for me, right? Like obviously, just move the king away to prevent any chances of him being forked by the knight, and then promoting that into H1, and then after that, or you could just like I would have taken the pawn onto G2, and then after that, after the bishop takes, then I would have sacrificed my rook for the bishop, just to minimize the number of pieces. So at least he only has a knight on the board, and then after that you can just deal with the knight alone. But now he has to deal with those 2 pawns still, and has to deal with those 2 minor pieces as well on the board. I would have just sacrificed something, for something as well. So
to be fair though, in the situation that we're in right now, we do have. Oh wait, actually, mistake. Oh no! Should have gone queen. Listen, queen to d4 would have been the move. If you go queen to d4, then you're putting the king in check, and you would have immediately threatened the knight. Big mistake. Calcio Paulo actually had won the game right there. That was the move, but now it's gone. Yeah. Now I don't know anymore. I was literally about to say, if Calcio Paulo does that, then there's almost no chance of actually winning. But a different move was made. Now it's very scary. I think now you go queen to c2, right? If you go queen to c2, you force the check. You're going to force the king away from this area. It gives you some time to force out the promotion. Indeed, that is the move. And this was the only possible move that was decent at this stage, but you're still not going to be able to find the double. Actually, no, you can't get the double promotion because if you move your pawn forward, right, it's not possible for Senzo to be able to take the pawn without leaving the king in check. So
unless he does that, unless he moves the king away, but like still, I also go for the promotion just to get rid of that piece, just to get rid of the piece. Yeah, it's worth it. You still have the queen on the board, so just get rid of the piece. Take it away.
I was about to say, I have a feeling though that Calcio Paulo won't do it, and Calcio Paulo seems a bit invested in being able to secure this particular promotion. So this felt like a mistake, right? Didn't really feel like the most optimal situation, and I'm not sure I would have done that. Don't you think that maybe moving king up to f4 might have been better? It's very hard to actually get countered in one move from any of the pieces available, whilst at the same time getting you deeper inside. Now I guess it ends up happening that you should be able to still secure a pawn. No! Why not e4? What happened?
Take the pawn. Okay, okay, there's a chance again. Okay, go ahead and take it.
Hey man.
Wins on.
Hey man.
Take the pawn. Take the pawn,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Like I say, minimize the number of pieces. You know, you want a clean working space. You want a clean working space to finish this game. So what you want to do is get rid of as many pieces as you can on the off the board. You can't really sacrifice the queen for the bishop because that will put you in a tight spot. You feel me? So at least if you minimize the pawns, then you know, and then if you might later on go for that. Okay. Clearly just trying to check him into. Okay. But if you look at the time, since MC has 6 seconds left, 6.9
Oh
seconds
my
left,
god.
and we've got 20. So I don't know. Maybe he's trying to run down the time because it looks like Counterpart doesn't know how to conclude the game.
Oh my god. Oh
It's
my
like,
god. What's gonna happen? Listen, I would feel so sad right now for Senzo if Senzo ends up losing this game. But you know, I think Senzo did manage a remarkable recovery. But given the time constraints, oh my goodness, Cult Apollo.
Counterpart doesn't know how to.
Wait, you can
doesn't know how
actually.
to mate.
Not I like about what Cult Apollo is doing. Cult Apollo is being smart, right, and moving around to make sure that's never drawn into a stalemate, draw repetition situation. So doing the right thing, and there, it's one.
Hey, Mara.
That what a way.
I'm not satisfied, man. Come on, meet the guy. Meet the guy. Finish it. Oh, finish it.
Oh,
You
what
must
a
mate.
game.
You must mate. But
No. It doesn't matter if you made. Not it matters. It matters if you win.
I guess, but like, I mean, it's just like bragging rights, but like saying, okay, yeah, I made it. But yeah, I guess.
Do you want bragging rights or do you want to go forward in the bracket?
Okay, I guess. But yeah, but okay. Anyways, looking into the next. Okay, we're heading down to the next round, just which is round 2 of this week. Who can we check out? I think who haven't checked out yet? We haven't checked
I
out
haven't seen.
Taps Junior and Clips. Oh no, we did check out Taps Junior in the previous.
We just see Chaps Junior. Yeah, we just saw Senzo. We haven't seen him Gwili yet, and you wanted to see him, right? We haven't seen him since week 2, so
Yeah.
let's see how he fares here.
Let's see how he's doing. So we got Mgueli on the white pieces here. Going up against Martinez, who's on the black pieces. And off rip, we see that Mgueli, fit just developing his knight, taking out his, placing his knight there onto c4, and also, getting his knight in the game. So yeah, it's still early in the game, so we shall see how this plays out. For a second, I thought Black was playing the Stonewall or something, because that pawn formation is like is reminiscent of the Stonewall, but like he was supposed to be pushing the other piece, so yeah, it's mirrored. But yeah,
It's almost pure mirror there. Quick trades off. Now is when the game starts to get really interesting, right?
Yeah, with
Seeing the first unleash of this knight going forward. There's a couple of options that are available from here, and if you don't respond in time, an incoming fork, I highly doubt you're going to allow a fork to happen at this level, but we've seen a lot of strange things already today, so anything can occur next.
Definitely. So I guess we shall see how this fares up and how it goes down. But we can.
Fork happening. Feels bad.
Like it's not really that, it's not really.
It's not that bad, yeah,
bad.
but it's like free. It's a free pawn,
yeah. You lose a pawn, but like you don't want, you did never want to be in this position. Oh, and Gwili's going in for the kill.
Okay, so I suppose if you don't respond to this, right, you can get mated in 1 from this position. As we've been mentioning. Okay, so what do you think the appropriate response is here? I don't think you try and attempt any pawn blocks, right? You just get the king out of here. Does mean that you will be denied from being able to use any castling later, but who cares? I think that actually might be your only move, right? Yeah, to go king to d7. Yeah, literally the only available move, lol.
Only available move. Rough.
Well, you could have gone king to e7, but that would have been a losing move, so d7 is the right one.
So I'm curious to see what Mugli plays now, because now the king, by moving onto d7, it's now supporting that e5 pawn. So obviously he's not gonna if he's planning to take that pawn now, he can't really. I wouldn't suggest doing that.
You can still take it if you go queen to f7, put him in check from that direction. He's forced to move the king away and or block with bishop, and maybe you just use that either to force the bishop away, or that's a different way you can try and take the actual little pawn. But here we go. Fork.
Oh, no.
Old school fork.
Yeah,
for queen rook. There we go. Yeah.
Yes, I guess, the rook is off. Yeah, so this is really rough for Martinez. He's losing a hour. Oh, so he wants to go for the exchange.
I mean, it's not really an exchange, I guess, right? You don't get anything out of this.
Yeah, because like he can just like move away the queen. But hey,
This is
maybe
similar to what we spoke about this in the previous game, where sometimes you make moves that don't really change the game state for you. Looks like the idea now from Martinez is to keep chasing
the
that queen, but
until he's forced
okay.
to be like, okay, you can take the queen. But like I said, it's just he's just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So because it doesn't change the situation that he is still forked and
Yeah.
and that he has to like lose one of the pieces. And
So
he
let's
decides
see.
to give up the rook.
Yeah.
Well played by him, really. I guess I guess he just had to shake off that little, that little dust. Maybe he hasn't been playing for a minute, so he just had to shake it off after that first round. So I'm guessing his intention right now is just to make sure that he wins the last remaining 3 rounds to make sure at least that he makes it into the top 16. Which I feel like it's easy because it's only 20 players, so that means the bottom 4 are the ones who will not make it through. But and yeah, for this week, by the way, there's no cash prize money. It's the playoffs, so there's no cash prize money. You're just fighting for a spot to make it into the grand finals. That's what you're fighting for. So yeah, it doesn't really matter if you're number 1, number 2, as long as you make it into the bracket, you should be Gucci. So no.
Fine.
Yeah, so there's not much pressure, but I guess you just want to be there at the top, just for bragging rights. Like I feel like that's what the other masters are playing for, like Bekra, Kithonski, and Dishespo. I feel like that's what they're fighting for that bragging right. Like, yo, I made it. I was number 1. In the week 1 and week 2 of players. Your boy. Your girl has. Was number 1 on the leaderboard. So I guess they're fighting for more of a bragging right because I feel like it's kind of like a given that they'll make it into the top 16, and maybe in the top 4.
Yeah,
we shall see.
It's a highly likely set of circumstances. Now there's a little bit of danger here for Martinez, who has to somehow protect king as well as making sure that doesn't lose the knight that's sitting on b5. Not going to be possible. We saw a lot of series of pawn trades, which leads you to this position where there's nothing you can do, right? You're going to end up losing this knight. The question, I think that it's not something that they should be focusing on the left side of the board here. You need to be thinking about what to do of this potential fork. Thank goodness of this knight move, actually, because if you don't make this particular knight move, they were one move away of bringing knight from white side to g6, putting fork on bishop queen. Yet another either trade or free piece to be picked up in that situation. Not something that you would want to have happen. Also, this is a sucky situation. You have to get something in front of this king, because if you don't, or move the king off, it would have been an easy pawn take into a free check. So Martinez wisely does the right thing here. But
now
I don't know. You're still in a bad position here.
Yeah, because now that knight on
it's just get eaten, yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, it was one of these things of pick your poison, right? Either get checked, lose the free pawn, and then have the queen potentially advance on the backside, or lose the free knight. There was no happy solution here.
It was rough. It's pretty rough. It's still rough because now he's gonna get fucked.
That's the fuck I was talking about. Like, at the very least, you can keep the queen alive now after you've moved the other knight, but you're still gonna get something for free.
This is a buffet for Mgueli, because like right now at this point, the position that he's in, okay, so he doesn't take the bishop. I guess, yeah. I
doesn't wanna. This makes sense to me. You know why, right? If he takes the bishop, then he's just going to lose the knight. It's a trade. This time, it's not a trade. He gets to keep the knight alive as an additional source of pressure.
Definitely. And so I see what he's doing. I see what. Okay. I see you. I see what he's trying to do. He's making some cheeky plays. But no. We don't do that here. Come on. You can't underestimate your opponent that much. That's not like.
Wait. To be fair though, haven't we actually seen a checkmate like that? The old school triple pawn block. I think we did see it. Was it 2 weeks ago or last week? There was definitely one game we saw where that exact situation happened. Yeah. Remember, like someone was winning, right?
and
that's the. And then they forgot. Yeah, and then they forgot about the king, like in that position, and they ended up losing the game.
Yeah, that's one of the worst. And I see that. That's why I wasn't really a big fan of moving that queen away, because now it leaded to that skewer that we were just seeing right now, where the bishop. After moving that knight, the bishop just is staring down the king. So there's nothing that he could do at this point.
Nope.
he
The
loses
queen that's getting taken. The only thing you get to decide is how does she die, right? Does she die here on d4? Does she die on d6? Well, she's dying on d4, it seems.
Yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. This is pretty rough because now it's like I said, this is like a buffet for Mgwili right at this point. He's just choosing what to eat. Now he goes for another fork there, but it takes a pawn on b5, goes for another fork. This is rough. This is rough. At this point, I just resign, man. I just resign, bro, because like I'm no, because this is like this is brutal. This is brutal.
There we go. There's the checkmate. GG.
And Gwili takes it. Yo, that's one way to come back. That's one way to show that yo, don't cut me out here. I'm still around. But looking at the scoreboard already, the chess boy is sitting out of two points. So these chess boys are playing. He's not playing. He's killing his opponents because we haven't even had the chance to see some of his matches. And usually after the first match, when I look at the scoreboard or the leaderboard, I see that he's already done with his match. The other players, like the other masters, they're still playing. Kitonski's still playing against Lazy Cash. I think that's an interesting match to check out.
See.
Lazy Cash against Kitonski. So we got Lazy Cash on the white pieces and we got Kitonski on the black pieces. And just like at first glance, looks like Kitonski is all up in there. He's not taking it easy on Lazy Cash at all. He has his rook and his queen there on the second rank. It's pretty tense. It's pretty tight. But like looking at the position wise, Lazy Cash is on the back foot. And I don't think it's the first time they've met. Right? I think they've met before.
Yeah, they definitely have played on another beforehand. Right now, it's a bit of a rough position to be in because the way that, look where this king is. This A1 king for Lazy Cash. You would struggle to think of a worse position to be in. You're surrounded by these pawns that can't really protect you. You're deep in the corner. Yes, you might not have the triple pawn file in front of you, but in some senses, that's actually worse because there's no way to develop. Doubled up on b file is always terrible. Queen can't really do anything because if she moves away, she leaves you a lot more vulnerable. Hell, even your rooks, because you have all these, the queen, the rook, what now, both of them sitting in the very, very high up, and you still have the option of unleashing the rook that's back on the other side of the board. It feels like there's so many ways that you can play that are just not available to your opponent right now. Easy things that you can do. For example, after this move, a lot of decisions need to be made by Lazy Cash, right? Do I try and make sure that I protect this pawn that's sitting on h2? If I do so, I might be leaving something else a little bit more vulnerable, such as this pawn that's sitting on g4. One of them is most likely going to die. Do I try to go for this queen trade? If I do that, sure, I get the queen trade, but then I lose out on having a queen. The opponent has double rooks like I do, but still has the bonus knight. But at the same time, I might want to do that because if I leave this queen as she is right now, given that my queen is static, her queen is much more dynamic, things are more difficult to play. And the decision is going to be to save the queen, keep it alive. This will most likely come at the cost of either some further positioning on the board or this pawn on h2. Either way, I still think Kitonski has a lot more options available than what Lazy Cash has.
Definitely. I feel like it's good that he didn't go for the queen trade because that'll really put him on the back foot. Like I said, if you are at a disadvantage, you don't really want to exchange queens. Because you can still turn the game around into your favor. If you keep her around for a bit longer. But as you can see, Kitonski is threatening that mate there on b2. So I'm curious to see what will be Lazy Cash's response onto this. This is pretty tight for Lazy Cash. This is very, very tight.
Yo, actually, what do you do here? Real talk.
I don't know. You move rook to
no, I think you're screwed.
b1. Move your rook to b1. I don't think it's guaranteed yet. I don't think the mate is guaranteed, but I think moving the rook to b1.
Yeah, rook b1 does buy you some time, right?
Yeah, buys you some time.
Yeah, I think that's the only move. Yeah, rook b1. It has to be rook b1.
Oh yeah.
I mean queen c1. Yeah, queen c1 as well.
Yeah, that also works. Oh, my, that's pretty sour.
The thing about this, though, I suppose, is that at the very least, the way that your pawns are set up doesn't allow one piece to just try and sneak and eviscerate them all from the back. And now, I guess, rook trade. How do you feel about this? Rook trade in this situation?
I feel like the rook trade just slows down, it just slows down Kitomski a bit, and it just it buys Lazy Cash some time to try to develop his game a bit more to see if he can escape this. And maybe because right now he's kind of playing responsibly, kind of responding to what Kitomski is doing. But I feel like he should come up with a plan to see if he can at least like maybe open up the the queen side of it, and maybe get rid of those two pawns. They're on the A and B file. I don't know, something at least, just to at least like ease up the pressure on his end. And also like try to kick the queen away. So at least he can give himself some room to breathe. But at the same time, he doesn't have that luxury of time because he's sitting on just about 50 seconds, and Kitomski still has not even half of his time. Like he still has more than half of his time left. So Kitomski is like he's chilling, man. He's vibing. He's just waiting, just waiting to pick out his opponent. So I guess I'm curious to see what happens here. So now I guess he loses that pawn onto G4. Is that probably the idea?
I feel like that's fine, right? Doesn't really matter all that much.
Moves knight to D3. I guess that's an interesting move right there.
Yeah, I was actually thinking knight to D3 might be a little bit better because I want to see some degree of aggression emerging. I don't want to just see slowly but surely eating everything, Sometimes it's more interesting to see wins that take place that somewhat leave the opponent with some pieces on the board. And from Kitomski, I also don't think it matters that much, right? There's so many options available that you can just try to wait out your opponent. You have 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes extra on your opponent. That's actually insane. I can't imagine beating a player who is in a favored position against me, who is ostensibly better than me, and has 4 additional minutes. That's just quite hard. Time will be bought though, and pretty much every move that's going to be happening over the next while will be about buying time. But I love the fact that Kitomski is not making it easy by ensuring that A2 is still covered. So the king desperately wants to be able to retreat in that direction. And here's the good old fork. Got caught.
I see what Lazy Cash was trying to avoid the queen exchange because I guess maybe Kitomski was thinking of going for the queen exchange just to reduce the number of pieces there of the board. But that just made him lose a big piece. I feel like this is chai. After that fork, you should just resign, bro. You just resign. After that fork, it's chai. You're losing with time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'd let a timeout. Honestly, I would let a timeout. I wouldn't resign. Timeout is fine. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, you
resigned! Lazy Cash. Come on, bro.
No.
Come on, bro.
I feel like that's a bit. No, I'd rather lose from a resignation than lose from a timeout. Because the timeout means that it took forever. So at least now, when we look back, we're like, oh, how did they play? And then we check, he lost by resignation. Oh, so he chose. He lost on his own terms at his own time. You feel me? So yeah, you don't wanna lose off. What's this? From what's this thing? You don't want to lose from
I'm out. Nah, no. I'm never calling GG. Never. The game master itself has to stop me from playing.
Oh wow! So when you lose Genkani, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah,
unless to be fair, in that situation, resignation is acceptable. It was pretty much chai. It was done. Nothing you could do.
I'm looking at an interesting one here, bruh. I am looking at Lazy Cash against Bekra. Bekra is on the black pieces the black piece.
Ooh, Bekra.
This is a lot for Bekra. Because it's just
this is just a matter of time now, right?
Yeah.
There's pretty much no way out. And here we go, the old school trap. Oh, haven't seen this one in a while.
Yeah, the bicycle.
And mate in 2. There we go. Game is over.
GG.
The G's to the G's. G's to the G's. It hasn't come just yet, but it should be Queen B3. What? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, check this out. That's crazy. Look at the time.
Yeah, look at the time. I'm just saying, Bekra, run that time down, girl. Run that time down. What happened? Cut the polo. Oh, okay. But I feel like he finished boxer, and I'm pretty sure he knows how to conclude this. Bekra should just make sure.
Are you sure? This is honestly, it's really hard to get checkmate from this position, right? With King Rook, and that's it. Nothing else available for you. If you're Bekra, right? I'm looking at this time and I'm thinking I can make this stretch for 90 seconds. I can 100% make the stretch.
Yeah, just make sure you don't get boxed in. That's the goal from Bekra. Don't get boxed in because the rook king checkmate, it requires the player to be boxed in. So she's not gonna be held down. And I'm not sure if this counts the moves. I don't know if like the moves are counted here, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
GG's well played from Bekra.
Big plays from
Counter
Bekra.
Polo really, like, he had the game in his hands, and he was like,
Yo,
he was like,
let's
yeah.
actually go back to that one, dude. I actually want to see that. So that was move number 68. One of the biggest mistakes we've seen in the
excited.
Esports
He got
League.
too excited, bro. He got too excited. He got too excited, and I guess
Mate in one, and it doesn't happen. Are you kidding?
he didn't see that. Like, oh my days. No. We don't. Oh no, you don't.
Oof.
You don't want to draw like that, bro. You don't want to draw like that. Like, oh,
Pain and suffering.
pain and suffering. I'm sure he's kicking himself right now. Like, no. But he still had the chance to mate. But I guess he didn't know. He doesn't know how to go about mating a person with the rook and the king. You know. So I feel like it's like medium level kind of skill. So I guess he still has to brush up on his basics. But I'm impressed that he managed to do that to Bekra. Because at a point, Bekra only had the king and he had the queen and the rook on the board. So I'm surprised that he even got himself into that type of position. So, well played. And we just have another match concluded. Problem X against Volatile. Volatile was on the white pieces, so he was losing, and then Problem X was on the black pieces. But yeah, that was GG's. So now we're heading down into the second last round, which is the third round. But looking at the leaderboard, we got the Chessboy in first place. We got Problem X also in first place. We got Kitonsky also there with 2 out of 2 points. So we got 3 players on 2 out of 2 points.
Yeah, but Kitansi only has the one tiebreaker point, so
yeah, he only has one.
Technically, it's only third.
Yeah, he's third, but we got 3 players on 2 out of 2. So I'm saying we got 2 players who are fighting for that. I mean, 3 players who are fighting for that top spot. But I guess we shall see how this fares out. I wonder who's we got Keith.
Bekra, Kitonsky.
Yeah. I've been feeling for this match. I think we should jump into that right now. Oh no, that's the Chessboy. Excuse me. So yeah, that's the one we're looking for. So we got the Kitonsky against Bekra. I think they've played before, haven't they?
No, they haven't. Because remember, by the time Kitonsky came in, right, Bekra started taking a couple of weeks off. So that's if they have played, they might have played like once. But for the most part, when Kitonsky got here, it's right after Bekra has been on hiatus. So I don't remember them playing, the two of them.
No, I think because I remember there was a week. Was it last week or last of last week? I'm not sure, but
it might have been that last of last week because that's the week I wasn't sure. So it might have been last of last week.
Yeah, I think it was last of last week. Because I remember Becker made a return, and I was excited to see her back on the on the server, and I was like, hey, maybe she could show these boys how she does it. But I think I'm not sure if they play. But I guess this will remind us on how the events might have went down, and then we shall see who had it. But yeah, looking at this, we got Kitonsky on the white pieces and we've got Bekra Joy on the black pieces. Both of them just like fairly developing their game, basic stuff, develop your game. But we see interestingly, we see Kitonsky's queen all the way onto a4. So I don't know, maybe he's playing some cheeky plays that side on the queen side. I don't know, I guess we shall see.
We'll see what I think this is some preemptive play that's going to lead into something a little bit later. And right now, after the pawn, I was about to say that potentially pawn, you try and make sure that this takes the piece on c5. If nothing else, you just don't want to be threatened on a5 or on c5 yourself for later, even if they do end up immediately reclaiming this. One of my concerns, right, generally when we've seen Kitonsky play, and we're seeing this again, every time Kitonsky plays, right, he castles and then plays in the opposite direction from where that castle happened. So on this one, did go for the shorter castle, and look at how he's playing. Everything, all the effort is focused on the A to E files. He's not going to be concerned about protecting F to H. So we'll see how it goes. Nice double defense here, trying to force Bekra into an uncomfortable position where I'm coming for one of these pieces. The question is, how are you going to be able to get it? And there's no easy way to attack this piece because this knight that's sitting on b7, if it should try and move away, we now see the purpose of the queen that's on a4. Immediate block on the check. Gives you so many more aggressive options. So Kitonsky, there was method to all this madness. It's all working out in the end. I'm kind of wondering here. I really like this move from Becker. I think that was the correct thing to do. Like 100%. That's the only real move that's available. But Kitongski, look at this, dude. Immediately responding by going to the other side as well. And this is sort of the situation of like, hey, I'm still going to be using this queen to pressure the entire board. Kings and queens are affected on that side.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be one hell of a game. It's gonna be like super intense. But yeah, I think it was quite interesting what you pointed out earlier about Kitonsky always playing the opposite side, or attacking always on the opposite side where he castles. But I guess I don't know, man. I guess he's trying to avoid any counters on the side, and also like potentially not like putting his position at risk where he castles. Because sometimes when you attack, for example, if he castle king side, you might have to advance some of the pieces there on the king side to also like weakening it as well at the same time. So yeah, I guess that's an interesting thing that you pointed out there. But yeah, it seems like this is going to be a very slow game, and I think it's the first time we've actually seen Kitonsky taking his time or having about just like some even time.
Yeah.
That's another thing to point
That's
out.
true, yeah.
Because most of the opponents that he's been playing, he's just been like boom, boom, that's very intimidating as a player. Because I've played against him a couple of times before, in the past, and every time I used to play him, I would like think, if we were playing like a 30 aside kind of game, I'll be sitting there for like a whole 5 decades just like trying to figure out what to play, and then I play a move which I feel like it's formidable. I feel like this could give him some some brain time and all that, but man's response to one move where I'm like but I guess it's also understandable because I'm pretty sure he's playing these lines in his head as well and also trying to figure out a counter. So he's using your time at the same as you taking forever to think. He's also using your time to think for himself. So
yeah.
But it's very intimidating. Like you play a move and you feel like, yeah, now I got you, and then he's like, boom, and it's like, you're like, yo.
It's one of these things where you're literally still thinking about what move to like. You're still like, as you place the piece, you're like, is this the right move? You get it, and then as you're just still looking at the board, the next move's already down. And it's like, your turn, bro.
It's like your turn, and you're like, huh. And we used to do this a lot. I remember back in the tournaments back in high school when you used to go for provincials and all that. I'm not sure how those are being handled. I'm curious on how those are being handled now since like it's the COVID and all that. But I remember back in provincials when you used to go because you used to go to like different varsities and use their halls or use like some big halls, and we used to like when we're there, like as we're playing, I'll see them like walking around, and I used to do that also to my opponents. Like I'll play a move, and I know it'll give him some, and especially if I know I'm playing someone who likes thinking, who's like taking his time. I would walk around, the hall, go to the bathroom, have some snacks, look at other games while my game is happening. I come back, I take a seat, think about the next move. I play my move, and then I walk away again. But it used to suck. I used to do that as a psychological tactic to kind of scare my opponents. Be like, yo, whatever you do, man, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I got this in the bag, bro. I got this in the bag. It used to be really, it used to suck when I would lose that match. Or like the opponent would play some really strong move and then I'm like, oh okay. Then I start sitting down, then I hold my head. And then the guy gives me that look. You're like, yeah, well, yo, okay, cool. Aren't you walking out around this time? So I was like, but yeah, I'm just reminiscing on some old good times. But yeah, back
who's not having the best times right now? Beckerman. Not having the most fun at the moment. I mean, the game isn't terrible. It's still extremely close, right? Nobody actually has a piece advantage or that much of a positional advantage. But the thing that's very annoying about playing against Kitongsi, every move that's done sets up for 2 others that you're not even certain have happened yet. So you can almost sense like a little bit of paranoia from Becker. I mean, consider, right? How often do you have it be the case where the queen has moved 4 times in this match? She moved from D1 to A4, from A4 to H4, and now from H4 to D4. And every single time she's moved, for some reason, it seemed extremely threatening. This one doesn't seem threatening now, but I promise you, when this next move comes in, which is most likely going to be knight forward from F3 to the one that's on E5, suddenly things start to get extremely scary again, and you're just like, oh my god. What do we do? How do we deal with all of this? This just is. I just love seeing it because every single time that the play looks like this, it allows us to see like the caliber of the opponent, right? And for example, Bekra shows what caliber of opponent she is by going for the castle, not falling into the trap of being like, okay, maybe I should try to go for the immediate approach, recognizes the danger, 3 moves ahead, and moves to deal with it. And now, as I was actually about to mention earlier, that she's also been playing fairly statically on the back. Now consider where all her pieces are together. Everybody is clustered up in such a way that nobody has any obvious immediate weaknesses alone. But that's going to encourage some plays from Kitonsky that, to be honest, will be. It's not about being difficult to deal with, right? Is that the only ways to deal with them puts you in a somewhat worse off position? Because now there's like heavy pressure on this knight. There's no way to immediately counterplay with it. The only thing that keeps the knight safe also puts it in a relatively bad position, right? You have to go all the way back onto b8. If you do that, great. That means that I don't have to worry about a knight. Your queen is now stuck in. She can't do anything. All she's really doing is helping to defend. Oh, look at that response. You see, I wouldn't have done that if I'm Bekra. I would have been too scared, kept the protection going onto the king, and she's like, nah, fam. I know what's up. I'm going to stop this from happening before it even gets out. You queen trade for this, right? I don't think there's any other. I think not queen trading is really bad, and there's no way to avoid it, right? Not sure about this move. Not sure about this move. I really felt like the queen trade would have been slightly more appropriate there. She does end up keeping the queen alive. Honestly, I don't think that's worth it. I don't think that's worth it. Because you're going to end up, you keep the king alive, right? They get a free bishop out of this, and you get literally nothing. So, decent advantage now for Kitonsky. You still have, I mean, you keep talking about this, right? One of the things you mention every single week, the power and potential of what happens if you're able to advance queen and rook up to the final 2 ranks. And now that they're there, sitting and chilling, becomes a lot easier to play this game out for Kitonsky. You still have the queen, still in a very positive position. Now it's going to be all about how do I utilize this to just slowly but surely consolidate this advantage. And there's nothing Becker can do about this. Yeah, we lost your audio a little bit there. Perfect. Monsieur.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I'm pretty sure people are like, you can hear. I was just like talking about the analysis and just looking at like how strong the position is. Especially having your pieces there on the 7th and 2nd rank. So yeah, because you can see how much command that Kitonsky had on the board, and Bekra just resigns because I guess she sees that right now she's just playing responsive chess, and she's kind of responding to Kitonsky's moves, and that's something that you don't want to do. But like,
the game literally wasn't the same since that opportunity for the queen trade.
That's where the game kind of cracked down for Bekra. I believe that she could have just went for the queen exchange, and it just give herself a fighting chance, because like after losing that bishop for free, that really messed her game up. But GG's to her. Well tried. But looking at the leaderboard, we have the Chess Boy still okay. We have the Chess Boy on 3 out of 3 wins. We got Kithonski on 3 out of 3 wins. Then after that, we got Problem X on 2 out of 3. We got Tapstream on 2 out of 3. We've got some Guili on 2 out of 3, and we also have Becker Joy on 1.5, and the rest of the line and the rest of the people there are sitting on 1.5, on 1 point. On 1.1.1. So, but yeah, we still have 2 games going on. We got Sully and we got Senzo MC, battling it out. Both are sitting on 1 point. Hopefully, they're going to try and get at least their 2 points. Just give themselves some extra points and just have that bragging rights of being in the top 16. But like I said, for this week, it's pretty easy to get in the top 16 because, some of the gents and ladies didn't show up, due to some unfortunate circumstances,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So basically, you just have to avoid losing 3 matches, and you should be fine, right? If you just win even 1, I think mathematically you should be through. Yeah, I think for the most part that should be what it looks like for now. So if both of these players that we see here have already gotten themselves a win, so like you mentioned, it's all about bragging rights, and it's about practice. Gets only harder from here on out. Also, I think in this today we've definitely seen that no matter how skilled you are, situational practice is definitely a thing that's always required, right? Seeing what's the best move in a given situation rather than just I'm good overall. And right now, for example, though the lead is there for Suleimani, I think given some of the contextual moves that have taken place, it's still not all bad. Things look relatively decent here for Senzo. It's just difficult, but certainly not anything close to impossible.
No, it's doable. It's really, really doable. Also considering that, yeah, no, as long as he sticks around with his pawns, which I guess also Sully's also doing, sticking with his pawns to try and get a promotion. I guess it could happen, but it's just that extra pawn could slow him down, could slow down Senzo a bit, before promotion. But I feel like it's really, really doable. But I guess also at the same time, Senso must not neglect that side, the queen side, because you don't want him to also, you don't want it to be a race. You don't want it to be a race. So yeah, so I guess he can just stick around there and just focus on getting promoting on his end. And
I mean, it's the only thing you can do, right? I guess all you do now for Suleimani, your priority is keeping that rook chilling on the C file.
Oh, no.
You know that a promotion's gonna come. No, Senzo.
That's not the move, Senzo. That's not the
King
move.
to F6, my friend, not pawn to E6. He's screwed. GG. That's game over.
Yeah, it's GG now. It's pretty GG. it was doable. He was still on the back. He was still on the back foot. Before, because of that extra pawn, obviously from Sully. But after losing his pawn, after basically giving it away for free, he has kind of made things a bit tighter for him. And also just looking at the time, he only has 39 seconds left. So he is also down when it comes to time. He's down when it comes to possession. He's down when it comes to the number of pieces on the... You know what I do, man, at this point?
What you would do, I'm guessing, right, is evaluate the board, looking at the certain positions of all the pieces and think to yourself, what's the easiest way possible to attain victory, right? That's what you would do, right?
Not necessarily. There's that button on the app. There's that button that I hit in these kind of situations. It's labeled for emergencies only, and this is an emergency.
Lol.
It's labeled.
I'm just trying to imagine in my mind. It's perfect chilling there. And it's in case of emergency, break loss. In case of queen loss, break loss.
Wait, hold on. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary yet. I don't think it's necessary.
Wait,
I
what?
don't think it's necessary.
Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Wait, what? Is that a...
What?
Are we about to... No, wait, it's fine. You know what? You can't promote. B3 bishop. Yeah, B3 bishop protecting the square.
I forgot about that bishop for a second. And I was like, wait, we talk about resigning for a second, and then next thing, how?
Okay, now you resign before the promotion. Now you have to resign.
Yeah,
otherwise it might be a very painful checkmate.
Yeah, now I hate to resign. You know what I'm saying? I'm still back in.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. I don't promote losing or anything like that, but I'm just saying, if you know it's chai, it's chai. Simple. You feel?
It's game over.
And that was the last round of round 3. So now we're heading into the 4th and final round. And you know what's happening? This always happens, bro. This always happens. You know what I'm talking
Tomsky and the chess boy. Here we go.
We've got Kitomsky against the chess boy. Probably going to be another draw.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's see the first 10 moves. Let's see the first 10.
Queen's Gambit coming out. We have a Queen's Gambit coming out from Kitomsky. I've seen him playing it a couple of times in this tournament, so I guess that's an opening that he loves playing. I also used to love play. I still do. That's like my go-to opening, the Queen's Gambit. I just really like how it gives you command, you know, in the beginning, and just like gives you some, you know, good position, especially if you play the accepted line. It just puts you like in like command of the center, as well as gives you, that good position on the board. But yeah, I guess let's just see how this plays out, and then we're back on the mirroring of the boards again.
Hold on. It's still possible. Hold on. Okay, we said 10 moves, right? We're at 5. The openers were slightly different than openers we've seen up until those points. Very slightly, but we're still back at this mirrored position. The next move will tell us all.
One thing I've seen about these guys is they can play. They could play like different moves. They could sway away. Like it's not like they have to play every single move exactly like identical, but like it always ends up being mirrored. Their positions end up being mirrored for some reason. Some reason, bro. That's all I'm saying. It's but let's see how it goes. Because it's not like they're playing quick. Because before they used to play like really fast and stuff. So let's just see how this plays out. I'm really curious to see. They're both equally so.
I would love for this to actually be a real matchup, right? Last round, they're both at the top. Whoever amongst them is actually able to win this one, right? They both have the most tiebreaker points of everybody. They both have all 3 of their games won. This is literally it, right? You win this, you actually have somebody coming in first for once between these two. If it's a draw, Chessboy technically wins because they have the tiebreaker points. Hey, crap. Hold on, 3 moves left. Hold on. It'll be fine.
I've lost hope, my man. I've lost hope. It's a draw. I already said it's a draw. It's a draw. It's gonna be again.
GG. I did say 10 moves. Short side king. All right, let's get out of here. Bye, guys.
Bye. We're done with these guys. It's gonna be a draw. We know what's the result. But anyway, so now I guess we can tune into Taps Jr. and Mgwili, which is going to be a very interesting game. We got Mgwili on the black pieces, and just looking at first glance, Mgwili's all up in there. Look at like almost like 70% of the board is like, I see it's like black, it's in the commander black. And looking at Taps Jr., he is on the white pieces. He didn't castle. Oh no. Oh my god, he didn't castle. Oof. And I think it's because of that knight there on D3. That knight on D3 is to blame for that. Because like, this is really rough for Taps Jr. Because if you're not going to be able to castle, and look, he's just really just destroying right now. He's just destroying. I guess he just needed that loss in the first round just to shake him up and wake him up and be like, yo, remember what we're fighting for. You feel me? So
I mean, he hasn't been out here for a couple of weeks, right? He's been taking it easy. Sometimes you just need to be reminded of the degree of competition that you're playing in. Definitely. And you're like, oh yeah, BT dubs. That's what these people are doing. Okay.
Yeah, just has to tune his settings, to destroyer or just chilled. So he just like turn it up to destroyer, and as we can see that he's really going for the kill.
I feel like also, like you were mentioning, whenever you don't end up being able to castle, like the little knight being the culprit here, you end up in this really awkward position where this rook is going to be useless for a very, very long time. There is the pawn that's sitting there on the h-file hasn't really advanced far enough to present any kind of problems for Mgwili to address. So the protective aspect of that rook does nothing. It's sitting behind the king, can't be freed, and that really awkward situation where you can get checked in from behind, it makes it even more possible whenever you have these sort of circumstances. And now, look at Mgwili. This is such a provocative move. You know that a trade has to come, right? And Taps Jr. is aware of this. So now the question is, what's the best way to get this trade? But also, this is actually not the best situation. I just realized that there is this, because of this B1 rook, there's danger now sitting onto this bishop that's sitting back on B7. So unless you go for a trade move immediately, which is fine, but this was the only way that you're going to be able to still get the bonus bishop. Anything else would have actually led to you getting a disadvantage. So good move from Mgwili to recognize that he's sort of in a pickle, but still keeping his eyes on the prize and playing aggressively.
Yeah, diff, yeah, because like I was like, wait, what's the play there? So I guess I guess initially he didn't also see that rook, but then it also hit him when he was about to take the bishop. It was like, oh snap, I might leave my
Yeah.
bishop hanging there for a second. So, well played from him. 'Cause I thought maybe he's
No!
I
Taps Jr. gave up a knight for. Oh no, he didn't. There's
no,
defense.
it's
Okay,
not. That's defense. It's
sorry, I
defense.
didn't see the queen. I didn't see the queen.
Wait, we're gonna get there. But I was actually thinking Guilio was trying to open up that diagonal there which starts at a6. I thought he was trying to open that diagonal, the a6 f1 diagonal, to try and maybe go for a pin situation and maybe I don't know, try something out there, and at least to have his white square bishop eyeing down onto that king there on f1. I thought that was maybe the play, but then obviously because of the rook that's sitting on b1 from Taps Jr., that couldn't allow him to do that because obviously he was the rook.
Really got forked, but it's fine. We can defend this fork. It's chilled. Whenever the rook is back like this, I mean, you defend it, but you still end up losing a rook over the knight. It's not the greatest trade in the world. I suppose you just let this trade happen, and then you open up your own rook afterwards.
I think he goes for the pawn on a2.
What, from this move? I mean, you can, yeah. If you go pawn on a2, then you also threaten rook on b1.
I'm sorry.
But then there's a king, yeah. I think
that's not the move over.
If you want to do that, why not go queen f5, right? That way you still have diagonal pressure onto this rook. It actually becomes a bit of a problem. If Ngwili does end up losing his rook, then immediately he can get himself into a check situation. Because the rook is dead, right? You have to just accept that. So I'm just trying to think of like what allows you to play pressure, and f5 makes sense to me on queen because then you can still pressure b1, get a trade instead of just a raw getting for the knight, and still potentially put the king in check thereafter.
Yeah, diff. But like, yeah, it's pretty shy for that rook there, and I guess Guli just didn't see that for coming. Rough.
Not a fan of that move.
No.
I mean, it still gets you the same situation, right? Where if you end up losing your rook, you can move down forward, take b1. I don't know. It doesn't feel like...
Now, I feel like that move is way better than f5 because, in this position, obviously, if he moves the knight away, right, then the rook goes. So it's an exchange.
No, sure, but you still get the same effect, right? But the reason I would have preferred f5 for a little bit of bonus pressure right ahead of it ends up not mattering anyway, because this is a really good move by Taps Jr. to protect the king, but it does give up the potential positioning. But I suppose, given what the game looks like right now, I'd rather have my pieces, right? Instead of having to... You don't always have to trade just because you're in position to be able to do so. But now, like you're actually mentioning, there's pressure back on the other side. You can't afford... You can go for the rook trade, but there's an extra move effectively available from Gwili. More time to decide what to do. You're... Generally, when we talk about the game, you're the one that has much more strong feelings on the trade here. What would you do? I would have gone for a trader like a long time ago if I was on Gwili, but... what would you have done in that situation?
Like which trade exactly?
Like earlier on when Mgwili could have gone for not Mgwili, sorry, Taps Jr. Excuse me, could have gone for a more aggressive positioning. But then you end up losing rook. So basically, the question would be, what's better? Keeping, if you're Mgwili, is it better to keep the rook in exchange for the trade, or to have tried to force the trade to happen?
If I have the advantage, I would go for a trade. But at this point, I feel like things are pretty balanced. Even the advantage ball, I feel like it's going to be a close game. That potential fork really, slowed things down. And well played by Mgwili. Like I said, that move on to b7. The reason why I'm a fan of it so much is because it helped him get away from that fork position, because like most players, they would have tried to play like f7 for example, but then obviously after f7 there's potential that he could have moved e4, obstructing the queen, and now it's and also threatening it at the same time. So now you have to move the queen away. You have to move the queen away, probably to a block there at the back, like maybe h1 h7. Now she's stuck in some corner, and it kind of like boxes her in. So
That makes sense.
So yeah,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, so that move really helped because like obviously if Taps Junior decided to go for the rook and take the rook, then it was gonna be a check, and then we could have won two rooks in that scenario potentially if Taps Junior wasn't careful. So yeah, that was great recovery from Gwili. So I'll still give the advantage slightly to Gwili, based like yeah, that was really well played from him.
You see now queen getting back into the middle of the board. The rook trade does eventually happen, but there's no effective danger thereafter. So now the question is going to be, what is going to be the approach? Very similar strengths on both sides. Bishop versus knight, but still same amount of rooks, same amount of queens, of course. The interesting thing is going to be the positioning of these pawns. The way that they are stacked up, fairly more defensive positioning for Taps Jr., erstwhile potential for more aggression on the side of Mgwili. And now we see that the first one in a while, Taps Jr. does go for e4. It's been a while. You were just talking about this, and it would have been able to apply pressure earlier if the queen was on f5. But instead, it's going to be opening up space for Taps Jr.'s queen. This move, you need to either protect... If you don't protect the king now or get a threatening position to cover this g5 square, it does feel like a potential check is coming that they want to utilize to take that little knight. But it's being covered by the queen right now. Not anymore necessarily, but this way, I think it was also, if you're Taps Jr., you're not trying to take any chances, right? And put yourself in a position where, as much as you might say, I doubt the opponent will make this trade, why take that chance? Why put yourself in a position where you lose pieces for free?
Definitely.
Even if it is a trade? So...
No, definitely.
This I'm fine with.
That was a decent move from Taps Jr. because I guess he saw the potential of, because obviously he was not going to let his knight go away for free. So I guess he was trying to avoid maybe a potential move, but like c2 being played by Gwili, by maybe offering the queen exchange. Like I said, if you have the advantage, and looking at this, I'll say I'll give the advantage to Taps to Gwili because of that those two double up pawns on the f file from Taps Jr. So Taps Jr. does have that disadvantage there. If whenever I'm in an advantageous position in a game, I try to exchange queens or any other piece that could potentially turn the game around and turn it like on its head. So I feel like that's the goal for right now for Mgwili, to try and remove the queens off the board. I feel like that should be the goal, so at least he has a cleaner working environment, and then it's down to bishop versus knight, and then we see who's gonna win. And we see he's applying more pressure, moving that bishop onto d4, applying pressure on that knight, potentially threatening to go for f2 if obviously if the knight moves away.
What do you think about responding to this by going queen f6 from white side?
Queen f6.
Pressure the rook. Pressure rook so that it's actually impossible decision to make. Because if you just go in for the bishop, like to trade it with the knight, then you end up losing rook plus bishop in exchange for knight. That definitely doesn't seem worth it. But I also don't see any other move that keeps you from trading this knight in some way. Pretty much anywhere the knight moves, unless it goes like really deep into a bad position, either onto like g2. I suppose d1 keeps it alive. Anything else kills it. Unless you go all the way here, g4, you can protect it. Like it can die now to trade, but I'm not sure I fully understand the move. Going pawn to a4 here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not, because in that position he's basically giving up the knight, but I guess also Mgwili also he's not a fan of that, so he's not threatening he's now threatening f3, which is now getting a bit more tight.
Why wouldn't you go f6 last move? If you were gonna go f6, I feel like just go f6, right? Like I'm really not. We speak about this a lot over the last couple of weeks. Moves that either don't change anything or put you in the same position you already were at. And to me, that felt like a textbook case of one of those moves. And now with further pressure onto this particular knight, it retreats down to g2 eventually. But that just gives free reign to the queen. Now there's nothing to protect that pawn that was sitting on h3. Nothing is protecting, nothing's threatening the queen anymore. She can decide to just move right back towards e3, wait there, to take the pawn thereafter, using the protection from the d4 bishop. I don't know. It kind of feels like you also have the option to start advancing rook towards the aggressive files. And as I say that, we see
Rook onto the
c2
second
rook.
rank. Rook on the second rank,
Yeah.
man. Put that rook on the second rank. Yeah, because I prefer that over e3 because I feel like it slows you down and just you want to keep that pressure there on the h file. You don't want to keep up that pressure. So I feel like I really like to move onto onto the second rank there on c2. By Mkwili, you know, just puts on that pressure, and really there's nothing much that Tapchina has to do right now because I mean there's nothing much that he can do. The only thing that he has to do now is just like try to respond to what black throws at him, and we're now back again at responsive chess. And also just looking at the time, you know, time is not in his favor as well. And you know, that's like for me, I call it desperate check. I call those desperate check.
Yeah.
You know, you just want that check.
That doesn't do anything.
Who's it? Check I checked him. You know, okay? so yeah, that seemed like a very desperate check. And like the other reason
It's actually
why,
feel.
Oh, I was about to say the other reason why I prefer the rook on second rank is because it just like, you know, that'll move like f1, you know, because obviously if the queen there and you wanted to eat with the queen, you want to take with the queen, then you know that move like f1 stops it from happening. But because you got that rook on the second rank there on c2, then you still have that potential, you know, you have that potential case of, you know, of the rook taking there onto f2.
This move is so good right here. Going f3 with this queen. Coming at this now, right, after you've already made this advance with the rook, it does several things for you. You now have so much overwhelming pressure onto the f2 pawn that you actually have to retreat away with the king. It keeps, because there's this pawn that's sitting on e4 for the white pawn, that pawn can't actually move now by itself independently without leaving the queen to be immediately eaten. Queen is somewhat stuck, and that same pawn is preventing her from getting back onto the other side. So ironically enough, this queen can play in without any threat on this side of the board. And now here's a potential check that could come. I mean, you just made the eat. It's very difficult to think about what to do next. You have to take the bishop. If you don't take that bishop, you are 100% screwed. But you're probably still screwed anyway. Yeah, you have to. That resignation makes sense. Yeah. Even this time, even I'm not gonna deny that one was a resign because that's mate into nothing you can do.
No, it was chai. And just an update for you guys, Kithonsky and the chess boy have drawn again. Which is not
what?
I did tell you that this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I did tell you this was gonna happen. You know, so yeah.
You know, it's an interesting one. I think let's watch Soleimani and Problem X, right? And the reason why is because both of them, whoever wins here, is guaranteed fourth place. You know, comes top four. Everyone else, top three is already decided now.
Yeah.
They can't really. Actually, no, it's not, because if either of them wins, right, whoever wins becomes third, because then they have 3 wins. Problem X has 4 tiebreaker points. Soleimani has 3. Mkwili only has 2. So a victory here is guaranteed third place.
I guess you're fine for that bragging right of being in the top 3. And let me just swing over to the comments real quick. I'll just leave Backroot Games match against Volatile. But like looking at the comments, I see some people are hitting us up saying that Calto Paulo was cheating, and you know. I guess we'll have to investigate that. Like the team will have to investigate that and just double check, because we did check and make sure that no one is banned. We did like make sure to remove some of the people who got bans due to fair play in the past couple of weeks. So we just have to double check and see. But I don't remember. I'm not sure. Our team will just have to double check and see. We're going into week 2 of the playoffs. If he'll make it, to see if he's still like, you know, if he's still banned. But like, yeah, most of the people who had qualified and were sent emails, we made sure that no one has a ban, or else they wouldn't be allowed to participate. But who's this? Because I remember there were 2 people who got banned. And they were also removed. So yeah. But yeah, and I see someone also, Benele, the chess boy, is asking if the players have prizes too. Yes, we have prizes, but like not now. Because right now you're fighting for the grand prize. You know, there's no weekly prizes. The weekly prizes are done. We're not going into the grand finals. Where in the grand finals you get more. You got, he was banned mid game. I just got an update saying that he was banned mid game. Oh,
Like during the game itself. Okay, that actually explains what I
okay,
actually
that
see. Yeah, I see
explains
on the
it.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that explains it. Okay, cool. So no, no, okay. If he got banned mid game, I'm sure the team, the Ekasi Esports team, or the guys who are facilitating the chess series, they'll make sure that he is removed off of the list because we don't want cheaters. Well, I'm not saying he was cheating, but if you're banned due to fair play, that means you're being unfair. You feel me? So we don't want anyone who's being unfair on this
All right.
on the playlist. But yeah. So just answer Benedet's question. No, there is no weekly prizes for the playoffs. But like I said, you're fighting for that big grand prize of 5,000 rands in cash. You feel me? So right now, like I said, you just have to make sure that you get into week 2 and the grand finals. You want to make sure you go into the top 16 and then you also head into the top 4. But yeah, that Backroom match against Volatile ends it. And now we have, I'm sure we should have our top 16 after this. We should have our top 16. So let's just look. Let me just see if I can just pull that up right now. Okay, none of those. I want to check out the standings. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, we do have top 16. Whew! Very fortunately, we do.
Yeah, we do have top 16, so let me just fade into that. So we got the Chess Boy on the top spot with 3.5 wins, 3.5 points. We got Kitowski also in 3.5 points. I guess the only thing that's separating the two is the tiebreaker points, which you can see there on the far right. You can see the chess boy has 7.75 tiebreaker points. We got Kitowski with 7.25 tiebreaker points. Then we got Sulu, we got Sulman there on third with 3 points. Then we got Mkwili on fourth. We got Volatile on sixth. We got Promex on seventh. We got Promex on 6th. We got Sense on 7th. We got Taps Jr. on 8th. We got Luquisance there on 9th. We got Lazy Cash on 10th. We got Bekra on 11th. We got Clips on 12th. We got Master P on 13th. We got our Coronations who just made it in on 14th. And this is going to be on 14th, 15th, 16th. Okay, cool.
No, they're tied. They're tied for 14th.
They're tied for 14th. I'm looking at the tiebreaker points. They all have 0 points. But then after that, unfortunately, Jaden Sy Smith is out. Emilio Carlos is out. Carlto Polo, who got banned, he's also out.
He also bad.
And do we really feel bad? I mean, if you cheat.
Actually, you know who must be celebrating right now that Carlto Polo got banned, right? Bekra's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You thought you put me in a position.
Yeah. But like, yeah, GG's. I guess cheaters also get their day. That's what happened. Then we got Fusam. Fusam who also got knocked out. So yeah, GG's. Thank you for all those who participated. Thank you for those who joined. And for those guys who didn't manage to join on time, unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But the show must go on. The show must go on. So now since we got our top 16, all the top 16 players will receive emails from Ekasi Esports giving them instructions of what's going to happen next week. But it's going to be pretty much the same rules. But this time we'll only have 16 players instead of 32. And then out of that 16, we'll only take a quarter, which is 4 players who are going to go on to the grand finals, who will battle it out for that big grand prize of 5,000 rands. 5,000 rands. But I don't think, but yeah, but second place also gets something. Second place I think gets 2,500 rands. Third place gets I think 1,000 rands as well. So as long as you're in the top 3, you should be nice. Just target for that top 3. Then you should be nice. Then you get some cash. You get some cash money. You feel me? But yeah, I feel like that's about it for this week. I think we'll call it a day here. We got to witness some epic chess action. Shout out to you guys who've been tuning in. Shout out to you guys who've been showing us love in the comments. And shout out to all those who've been following us and also, sharing some love with their own socials as well. So if you guys would like to follow us, that is at Ekasi Esports on all social media platforms, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also catch us on YouTube, which you're here now, so you can catch us on YouTube, which is at Ekasi Esports. And if you'd like to find out more about the chess series, just head on to the Ekasi Esports tournament page on the chess series, which is at www.ekasiesports.africa/chess-series. And you can read up more about the chess series and see who's in, who's out, and all that nice stuff. And also, if you see these ads, like if you see the ads here, like the one, I'm sure you can see some ads cycling down here. if you want to get access to those awesome products and those awesome deals and promotions, be sure to head down to Midrand at Vodacom World to get access to those exclusive deals. Just know that these deals are only exclusive to Vodacom World. So if you want access to them, go down to Vodacom World. If you're not in Joburg, I'll say fly in, but with all the drama that's happening, just wait it out. Just wait it out for a second. Wait for things to cool down. Come into Joburg, then head down to Vodacom World down in Midrand, and grab yourself some awesome, grab yourself that laptop bundle with the router and a backpack and a mouse. It looks like it's a mouse, right? Yeah, it looks like it's a mouse. So yeah. There's a lot of things at Vodacom World. You get there's phones, there's consoles, there's the latest consoles, by the way. They got controllers, they got everything. So just head on down to Vodacom World to get access to these awesome deals and just to see how the place is like. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on my end. I think this is the time where you get to plug your socials, Mr. Sneh.
Oof, let's go. Let's plug them in. So trying to find me on Instagram, it is R1HLAMVU. On Twitter, I'm Snegrodamus, if you want to follow me on there. And of course, you can pull through on Twitch, twitch.tv/snarecasting. That's where I've been doing way too much Dota lately. I need to actually diversify content on the Twitch. Like I do a lot of FIFA, chess, everything else outside, but back on that channel, it's mostly just Dota. So you can pull through, find that there. And of course, there's something I'm missing. Yes, YouTube. Find me on YouTube, Curved Thought on YouTube. That is where a lot of the biggest gas is at. So go check it out for 100%. New content. Everything I put gets on there eventually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll check him out too. I guess with me, my plug is follow me on Twitter, which is at Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I don't know, you can just play around the tag and see which one comes first. But yeah, just follow me on the socials if you want to. And also you can also check me out on Instagram. There's nothing much there yet. I am planning some content for my IG because I've been getting people being like, bro, when are you gonna post something on your IG? Because it's a wasteland. There's nothing there. It's bare. So I'm planning some content to put up on my Instagram, so at least I can make it worthwhile for you guys to follow me and show me some love, just for you guys. But yeah, shout out to you guys, shout out to the guys on the comments. But yeah, like I said, we'll make sure that whoever was caught cheating, we'll make sure we bring down the hammer on those people. We don't play here. Okay, but I think that's pretty much it on my end, and that's pretty much it on Sneh's end as well. So yeah, this is us here at Ekasi Esports, from the Ekasi Esports Chess Series powered by Vodacom, signing out. So I guess I will see you guys in week 2 of the Ekasi Esports Chess Series of the playoffs. So cheers, gents. Thank you for tuning in. Cheers. Bye bye.
See y'all next week.